thank you so much for being here today. Today I'm going to walk you through our workshop, but before I do that, I'm just going to introduce myself. So my name is Lucy, nice to meet you, and I am a client onboarding specialist. And I'm here today with my colleague Nathalie and Jennifer. So today it's our fourth workshop about the 3D floor planner, which is the subject of this month, since we know that you're really interested in the future and you wanted to know more about it. So first, yeah, I'm going to take you through our agenda today. So first we're going to discuss visualizing the space, how you visualize the space, how you're allowed to do it for your client. Okay, so we're going to have like a little exercise. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And also, obviously, feel free, to ask questions along the workshop. We will make sure to, we'll try to answer all of them. And, the aim of this workshop today is to make sure that, you're more comfortable with the future and you're ready to make most out of it. So after our little discussion, we're going to talk about benefits of using a 3D floor planner. Then my colleague Jennifer will do a little feature demo for you, and we're going to watch a short video. And after that, we're going to tell you how you can book a training call if you need one. And at the end, we're going to discuss your main takeaways, and we're going to send you a link to a survey. Okay? Perfect. So let's have a little discussion first about visualizing the space. So if you can tell me first, so in what way can the visualization of the space be impactful for a client? So you can either answer and unmute yourself here, or you can just type the answer in the chat, whatever is you're more comfortable with.
So people want to be able to know what you're visualizing. They want to know what you're talking about and understand your vision. So it's important for them to be able to know what's going on, what they're paying for.
Yeah.
What else? Why is it impactful from a client's perspective to visualizing the space?
I think as well as Hamad is saying in the chat, he's actually saying shows I have understood the client, which I actually agree. If you are able to actually share what you are doing, it has to be aligned with what the client wants. So that makes a lot of sense as well.
Provides a great dialogue between the client and the designer. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. By the way, if anyone is answering in the chat, I'm not able to see it because I'm showing my
call it out. Yeah.
Okay. Any other ideas? Okay. So how do you currently communicate your vision for a project? So to your clients, but also to stakeholders, other members of your team or anyone who is involved in the project?
We create presentations and, put images of furniture and things together to show them, samples as well, and to show them what we're thinking. So they can give us their feedback.
With the presentation, is that something that you do in PowerPoint or?
We use Canva for it.
Canva,
so,
yeah.
And
do you what do you include in the presentation?
So we'll put what colors we're imagining using. We'll let them know we also, slightly separately to the presentation, let them know about the budget and the prices. So we'll include all parts of the furniture that we're planning to get, yeah, wall colours, and then alongside the floor plan as well. And then alongside that, we bring the samples with us.
So colors and the furniture and floor plans, yeah. And in terms of communicating to stakeholders, is that done in the same format or is that differently? So subcontractors and other team members?
Yeah, it's different for what we do. It's not quite the same.
Okay. So in which way would you communicate with them?
So we do mainly do staging for clients as well.
Okay.
So it's yeah.
So it's more B2C.
Yes.
Yeah, got it. Any other comments in terms of how you're currently communicating with clients and stakeholders regarding vision?
I think Lucy mentioned Canva. Is there any other support that could be used because this is mainly as a presentation? So any support, it could be video support, it could be any type of other support to share or communicate with your client.
We tend to do it face to face. Our clients are quite local to us generally, so either that, or if not possible, we'll do it over Zoom.
Great. And maybe tell us how are you inviting your clients to take part in the creative process so they feel like, more involved maybe? Do you have any way of doing that?
So we have Pinterest, yeah. And in terms of the Pinterest, do you let them pin as well, or like would they share their folder?
Yes, sorry, I'm late to the party.
Yeah, no party. No problem.
Yes, I do. I find that kind of just gets that dialogue moving, and even though I don't advocate it entirely because it can be really confusing sometimes. It's overwhelming for them, but it gives me an idea and just start to communicate with them. Visual is really important, and then I help them understand, and then from that it saves me a lot of time. Started to create my own idea in my head, or start working. That's already there, so I use tools that are available.
Got it. Yeah. So you're working anything with inviting the client into the creative process as well?
Yes, I make a board so that we can both have that private area.
Okay.
Yeah,
got it.
I know you have one, sorry, but I know you have a kind of one, but I haven't used that properly really, and the times I have it, I've just realized through Philip it doesn't, it seems to, I don't know, it doesn't seem to work at the moment for me.
Oh, with the Houzz idea books?
Yes.
Yeah, there is a Chrome extension that you can download, and then you are able to save like any photos anywhere on the web. So it doesn't need to be on Houzz. So in that sense, it's, I guess, a little bit more advanced than Pinterest, because Pinterest is only the Pinterest pictures.
Yes.
But on Houzz, you can also save the Pinterest picture, for example, but also like on any other website.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we can go over how to download that later. Yeah.
All right. Super. Thanks.
Cool.
My apologies, Fia said he, and it's actually a she. My apologies.
Don't worry. I was in the dark.
He said you are actually sharing your screen, sharing your board. Sorry, how would you share that board?
Oh, okay. I can tell you. We can chat later if you want.
It's just to have an idea of how
simple.
you would
Yeah,
actually
just
communicate them by sharing.
Yeah, send a link. Yeah. But hopefully Houzz will make that easier for us, so we can just use Houzz and we don't have to go anywhere else. But,
Great. So, sorry, just have one last question for you. So, how do you currently impress your clients and, make the whole process a memorable experience?
mood boards. They love mood boards, you know, just to get a feeling, even if it's more conceptual, just textures and fabrics. And I just whiz one really quickly and say, is this what you mean? Even though you kind of know, but just to show them that their input and my input is linking. I like to show lots of more textures and things like that, as opposed to physical items.
Why do you think that they love the mood board so much? What's so powerful with them?
What they find, I think every client I have says, I don't know how to bring it all together. And it kind of brings it all together, and they know, they understand. It's the scheme kind of idea of having a scheme, and how do you do it, and how colors blend, how shapes blend, how yeah, they love it. I think they can see it all in one go, and they can really, I think I know what you mean. You can know what you mean, sorry.
Yeah.
What about you, Lucy?
So we showcase on all of our work on Instagram and social medias, and have a website with all our case studies on. We try to show that to our clients as well. And in terms of when we're staging their home to sell it, we like to make it a bit more personal to them. We always put like fresh flowers and, you know, some fresh croissants on the kitchen side, things like that, just to show a bit of a lifestyle shot and to make it more livable for them, and to show them that we care about what we're doing.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. Very, very interesting. So now let's discuss the benefits of using a 3D floor planner. So we believe that first, it helps to create like a wow effect, to you know, to impress your client. So the client can leave you a positive review. They can also, you know, recommend you to another client. They can also come back to you, right? If they had a really great experience with you. So it allows the client to take part in the creative process. So, you know, it helps you to create a very strong relationship with a client, to create excitement for them, but also commitment to the project. And then also, obviously, it helps to, you know, create like a clear communication, be more transparent with your client, build trust, which is very, very important. And also, you know, kind of helps maybe for the client to be more flexible in case there is a need for that, since the client can actually really visualize everything and has like a better idea. I think it will allow the client, if there is like a delay or something, I think the client can be more understanding as well, because they know what you're talking about actually. So yeah, so do you have anything to add to that? No?
Not really, but the flexibility is really good, because especially when you're doing a kitchen and they seem to think they can put everything in it, it really helps that, you know, to see that straight on the offerings instead of like really forcing it. So yeah, it makes
I know we were touching base on that last week as well.
Oh yeah, that's
very easy to think, like I said, I want to have everything in this small little space, and then when you put it in there, you're like, oh, okay, maybe actually not.
Yes,
and to be able to catch that early.
Yes.
Yeah.
Even for a living room, you know, they just want to put everything in it. So yeah, no, it really does help see it visually. It's not just us saying that.
Perfect.
Great. So I'm gonna let Jennifer to take over. So she's gonna do a little demo for you. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now.
Thank you, Lucy. So I'm Jennifer, and I'm part of the product team. So what I do lots of demos for any pro who needs support with the software. In this case, what we want to focus on is the 3D floor plan. So we want to dive into it and see the different bits that we have. So I quickly look into sharing my screen. There we go. Yes. So what we want to do, as I said, is dive into the 3D floor plan. So I'm pretty sure that we are all familiar with this page, which is Houzz Pro homepage. And what we want to have access to is the design tool to dive into the 3D floor plan. So in order to do so, as we are working on the conceptualization and also the visualization of our project or our space, we are diving directly into the 3D floor plan. Once we get there, we will have access to our main page with the different floor plan that we have designed. Today, I'm focusing on Nikki's home, which is a space that we have created for Nikki. So this will be our project for the day. And by accessing that page, I'm directly heading to the space that we have created. So as we are talking about the 3D floor plan, we do have different views that are available and that we can introduce to our client. We have 3 different views that are available to actually showcase what we are creating, to also demonstrate what we are referring to, or also giving a better idea of what we are trying to achieve to ensure that we are fully aligned with our client's vision. So the first one, the first plan that we have is the floor plan, which is, I believe, a plan that a lot of us have seen before. It's mainly our Canva. This is where we are starting from. This is where we are actually giving us enough room to put together the idea that we have when it comes to the conceptualization of our space. What we are doing in the floor plan is adding the different elements and also different structure that we have for our space. So if we know that we have 5 feet walls, or if we have a space that is more rectangular or squarish, that's where we start from and establish the beginning, the base. From there, we are adding our different structures that will help us to have a more realistic view or idea of the space. And then we are able, still from the floor plan, to add the different elements, the different product to our space. And this is what we have. This is what we are ending up with. So it's a very flat version of the plan. It's just really adjusting and putting together our space. We can zoom in, zoom out, just to have a better idea of what we are currently working on. So this is our first plan. The second plan that we have is our door house. So as we can tell, we have all the different bits that are here. I'm just going to duplicate my page. Just a little disclaimer, if you see a difference when it comes to the title, is because I'm working on a translated page. But here we have our door house. As I said, this is the second bit. And as we can tell, we have a better view of our plan. This is really the advantage of the door house. It's really for us to zoom out of our space. In here, we have much more depth, dimension. We have a better idea when it comes to the structures, when it comes to also, as I referred to, the dimension, but also the colors of our different items. So it's also maybe more interesting for the client to have a door house view, because they have a better understanding of what we are referring to. This is not flat. This is really focused on dimension. And this is something that can also help when it comes to sharing or communicating your vision to your client. In this bit, as we are referring to Nikki's home, we can also zoom in and zoom out. I'm using a mouse pad, and I'm just simply zooming in and zooming out, but you also have this bit where you can zoom in here on the left-hand side or zoom out with the 2 buttons that are situated here. You also have the ability to rotate your door house by simply selecting a bit. You don't even have to select, you can place your mouse and just move it around and your door house will move. So if there's a specific bit that you want to focus on, let's say we want to focus on the living area, I'm just going to move it around and zoom in. So this will be for your door house. As I mentioned, we are focusing more on the dimensions, on the colors, on the heights. It's really a different effect when it comes to your the communication of your project to your client. Do I have any question maybe for the door house? Is it something that any one of you have used before?
Yes, I've just used it. I've used it, and then I'd used it this morning with Flora, but
Oh,
I've got the pad, so I have to. It's not the same
play around with your fingers.
mouse, but yeah, it's pretty easy, and then the doors fall down quite easily when you go in. But
Yes,
it's just a matter of playing around with it, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, and I believe once you get your get a bit more used to it, you'll be able to be a bit more comfortable with the tool as well. It's really about practicing, and do not hesitate to create projects that are test projects just to play around with the tool. These are it's a really great tool when it comes to sharing or just showing what you are doing. Yes, so that would be for the door house. Lucy, is it something that you have, maybe I believe that you haven't used it before, but would it be something that you would be interested in?
Yes, so we haven't used this before. We've been struggling with making our floor plan, so it's really good to know that they're available for us, and it looks quite simple to use. It looks like a good simple system, but really nice as well. Nice quality sort of looking.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the sort of systems we've looked at, the furniture isn't quite, it's not a very good color, or this, that, or the other, but this actually looks like a really nice system.
Yeah, indeed, if you need support, please do not hesitate to get back in touch with us. We'll look into that. But we'll discuss this a bit further at the end of the presentation.
And I would also say we spoke about the floor plan like the last 3 weeks. So if you would like to have a more basic in-depth in terms of how to create it from scratch, just rewatch the old recordings, and then there would be there as well.
Would it be possible for you to send us a link to where they are?
Yeah, I'll send them right now.
Thank you. Thanks.
Great. So as we were referring to, so I'm going back to my main page with the different bits. So we had the floor plan that we looked into. As I said, this is a 2D plan. We have the door house that we just dived into, which is the 3D version of the floor plan with all the dimensions, structures, and finish when it comes to the furniture. And then the last bit that we are about to dive into is the walkthrough. So I'm clicking in here, and here I have the walkthrough. So the walkthrough, it's also a great tool. It's a bit different from the door house. It's not a bird view. It's not a version where you can actually focus on the full version of your space. You could actually, but here is really to immerse the client into a different type of experience by seeing where everything would be located and moving things around the space around, sorry. So for instance, as we have walked into our space, so the walkthrough is really the word, we can clearly tell that we have access in here to the kitchen bits. So we have the kitchen and the dining area. Again, if you're using a pad, you can move to the left, move to the right. You also have the ability to zoom in and zoom out. There we go. Something that is really great and really positive when it comes to the walkthrough is that by accessing actually the walkthrough, you can break the wall a bit like the door house and just walk into your space and immerse yourself into the space that you have been talking about with your client. So if you have the question that I believe comes often, which is, how is this going to look like? you would be actually able to show freely how this is going to look like, or how that will look like. So this is a real experience when it comes to seeing, moving things around, and just playing with the space that you're walking. There we go. So this is really us being out. And as I said, by zooming in, we can actually break the wall and get into our space.
So this is great, Jennifer. And then how do I share this with a client, and what will the client be able to see on their end when we share it with them?
This is a really good question. And actually, we do have different options. And that's the reason why I asked earlier, I asked Safia how she was sharing her projects, or how she was sharing her boards. We do have a process that is pretty straightforward. Here, by clicking on the share, whatever page you find yourself, the share button will still be available. So for instance, if I'm on the walkthrough or the dollhouse, the share option remains on my right-hand side, and I can click on the share. There we go. By clicking on the share, I can actually select the option that will allow me to share. So there we go. And here I have the link. So what I can do is copy the link and then add it into an email. If I work through WhatsApp, I could actually share it via WhatsApp. However, I want to proceed with sharing that bit, I would be able to do so by simply copying the link. And this is how it would look on the client side. So I'm just copy pasting that link.
And then the client, will they be able to add and amend things on the floor plan as well?
No. So as we can tell, we have the page that just opened, and we can clearly tell that there is a difference with the page that we have on our end. On our end, we have a window on the right-hand side that helps us to add structure, as we can tell, product, and so forth. The client, so I'm going back to the link that has been shared, the client won't have that option. So the client can't amend the different, the space by adding different structures or elements to the space. They can only visualize the space and obviously communicate with you if there's amendments to be done, but they can actually visualize by having a look at the 3 different options that are available: the 2D, the dollhouse, and the walkthrough. So if I move to the dollhouse, as I said, there's no window on the right side. As well with the walkthrough, the client can visualize, zoom in and zoom out, but can't make any amendment.
And do the client need to have a Houzz account to be able to watch this?
No, the client does not have to have a Houzz account to have access to that page.
Okay.
Yes. Do I have any question? Anyone has any question related to this bit or any comments? These are 3 different options that are available. It can be actually very useful if, as we said earlier, if you want to communicate your ideas or ensure that your client have a better understanding of what you are referring to, or even if they want to amend certain bits. It could be the color of a wall. You've chosen that color. Oh no, that color is not the color that I want. It's pretty straightforward. Let's see on the go what color we can actually amend and see to have a finish when it comes to the space.
I know I was mentioned before in terms of the power of the mood board. I think this is like taking it to like the next level as well, where the client can like be in their own space, play around with it from different viewpoints. And like I said, maybe you can even just duplicate the plan and then add different colors to different plans, right?
Indeed, that's really that's something that could be done as well. So if we go back to the 2D plan, you would have also the ability to duplicate your plan and, for instance, offer different options to your client and see what they prefer. And again, share your plans with your client and actually mention this will be option 1, option 2, or and this is a really great tool to ensure that your client move in a direction of more of a realistic experience, if this makes sense. A more realistic experience.
Okay, and if we make any amendments on the existing plan, do we need to share again with the client, or will they see it directly on the link that you shared?
That's a great question. So if there's any amendment that needs to be done, the client will see it directly onto via the link that has been shared. So the link is a link that is live. So if there's any amendment that needs to take place, you would be able to do so, and the client could actually see it directly live. So for instance, it could be a very realistic situation where you're on the phone and you are trying to get the client's feedback, and your client is telling you, well, if we could place this there, or for instance, move the sofa in a different direction, how would that look like? If the client has the link open and you make the amendment, they will see it directly. So I think it facilitates as well communication, and also in terms of time, you can gain as well a lot of time by having a link that is live and ensuring that you can make the amendment directly.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other question related to the different views? Would that be helpful for you?
Yeah, sorry, that's very helpful. If we're not on the phone call, what they would do, I guess, would amend it and put it on an email. There's no way that you can annotate at the moment? That would be something would really help. Just even if it's on the plan and they can annotate and say this, this, because we're not always on the phone call together, and that's more time. Just something like that, and then they could send it back. I don't know if they can send it back. We tend to do that, but at them currently that's something I always find it just doubles my work if I have to go back in and they can just send that back. But so that keeps the communication going, doesn't it, and fresh.
Yeah,
but other
that's
than
a great product request.
This is a
Anything
great
else that would help you?
yeah, just like a quick one that we do in Adobe normally, or something like that. That's what I normally tend to do on. I don't know if I can do it on Vectorworks, but something like that.
I would say one workaround for now, what you could do is to download it as a PDF.
Right.
And then in the PDF, do you know how you open for annotate in the PDF?
Yes.
And potentially show clients that I'll send you the live link. I also send you the PDF.
Fabulous. Yeah.
And then in the PDF, you can like amend it here. Maybe show them how to open the PDF for amendments.
Right. Okay.
And then
that's a great idea. Yeah, I'll do that.
But I'll take that back to the product team as well to annotate.
Yeah, easier actually. I just realised. And in terms of finishings, I haven't used all of you. I've just quickly did some. But are they consistently updated and things to just newer options? Sometimes, I mean, there are some really nice ones in there, so which I'm quite surprised, because normally, I think it was Lucy was saying that it looks they're nice products and images, but that's the thing. I mean, we spoke last week about if we could upload things, say, from Vitra or something like that. They do have the 3D models, and whether it's compatible or not, maybe. I
have put that product request in as well already. Right. And in terms of the finishes and just products in general, like they're constantly being added. So like check the library, and also if there is something that you're missing, don't be afraid to reach out. Just raise the product support ticket and say like 3D Flow Planner would like to see XYZ, and then we can take it to the product team.
Fabulous.
Yeah, I think that is one of the strength of Houzz in general. Like they're constantly working on improvements on the software, and we're relying heavily on the feedback of the users. So basically everything that you see is built from feedback from the users. So really like take part of that process as well, and make sure that your voice is getting heard. So if there is anything that makes your life easier, let us know so we can develop it for you.
Fabulous. Yeah, I did see the email this morning. I thought, wow, they're already changing stuff. That's great.
Yes.
We do value, as Natalie said, the feedback that you are actually sharing, because it helps us to move in the direction of our professionals. Sometimes we just develop the items, and when it comes to practical, basically moving from the theory to the practice, it doesn't work, or it's not really well adjusted. So it's really great to have feedback. Something that I really wanted to share quickly is actually how you can download the PDF, just to ensure that if it's something that you would like to do, you will have the ability to do it easily. So in order for you to share actually the PDF, you can actually click on the shares here on the top right corner, and then you can click on print. And then from there, you would be able to save it as a PDF. So that would be for your 3D floor plan, but you also have the option to do so with any of the plans. So for instance, if you have the virtual bits, okay. There we go. So for instance, if I want to print this bit, I could actually move it in a direction, thinking that we want to move on the living room. And then I'll be able also to select to print. And from there, having the PDF version of it to print. And then as Natalie mentioned or gave a suggestion, you can add your different comment if needed. Yes. Okay.
Just one last question.
Yes.
Quickly. I mean, I don't expect to have it from this because I know this is a quick tool and things, but elevations we tend to do, like straight line drawing elevations, and I normally use SketchUp and Vectorworks to do an elevation, and I just wondered whether you can do that and create one. It's honestly, it's not really important. I can do that. I can use that still.
You didn't talk a bit more. I'm actually not sure what you mean with elevation.
It's like line drawing. So like you have the plan, and it's really good that you can go into 3D, but sometimes they just want a flat wall, and they just want a basic how to say, it's like a basic just line drawing. So it'll just show you as an elevation how it would look when you're facing the wall directly. So where where I mean, you can see it in this 3D and that just and you need it too, but it's not really super important, but that's a tool that I've been taught to use, and I use it quite often with the client just to give them an idea of each wall will be it'll look like this when you're facing it. But
and do you use the line drawing or the elevation more for the placement of things, so showing that, okay, this is the dimension of the wall, here's where this one would sit? Yeah, like what information would you like to have?
You can see, and it's like actually it's a bit more an accurate way of seeing this is like a pretty way, isn't it? And and sometimes that's what all clients need, but that actually shows you the space between, it gives you a proper indication of the spaces between and things. So yeah, I mean, we can put it up there.
Right now, no, but I can take it back again to the engineers and see what's in the pipeline and what's possible. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So with that being said, do you also then want to have the different dimension you said? Like,
That'd
for
be
example,
brilliant. Yeah, because we always do that in SketchUp. We always measure up each the distance between, and that it's again, otherwise you're just cramming everything in on it. It looks pretty, but it's not functional.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so we do have a new participant. Oh, that is gone now. Okay, we'll just carry on. Yes. So as we were able to see, we have 3 different views. We were looking into the desktop. Just for a reminder, we looked into the 2D plan. That was the flat version of the plan. We looked into the dollhouse, which is the 3D version of the plan. And then we looked into the walkthrough. We didn't walk into, but we looked into the walkthrough. So these are the three different plans that we are currently offering to actually showcase what, as we said earlier, what you can do and what you're offering to your client. But we also have a different, which is our last version when it comes to the plan. And this is the augmented reality. And that's really a way for you to take the experience, the experience of the client to a different level, to actually allow them to, again, get a better understanding of what you are referring to, but I'll say not only a better understanding, but a more realistic vision or understanding, and just making sure that they are actually not only pleased, but they understand where we are going to and the different bit that you are offering. So this is, as I said, the augmented reality, and this is a great tool because it's a tool that you can use with your different devices. That's a tool that you can use with your phone. It's a tool as well that you can use with your iPad if that's what you're using. So you can find yourself in the space in which you have decided to work in. So it could be the client space that it's maybe empty, and you just want to project actually what you are currently working on for the client to see. So without talking too much and making sure that you can actually see what I'm referring to, because I believe that image will speak better than my words, I'm just going to share my screen. So I'm using my device because we want to make sure that we can move around with our phone and share what we are doing with our clients. So I've connected my phone, I'll share the screen of my phone. And what I'll do, just to make things a bit more easier, I'll just share a video. There we go. So I believe that everyone can actually see my screen. So
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
amazing. So what we want to do is having access to the video. So I'm just going to start, and I might stop it in a bit to give a bit more explanation. But here where we are starting from, I'm really sharing the video because to avoid any technical issue, we never know with technology. But just to start, I'm looking for the Houzz app. If you do not have it, I'm really suggesting you to download the app, which is a great tool. Most of the things that you are finding on the desktop version can be found on the app as well. So this is a great tool. So we are starting by looking into the app, searching for the app. And then here, as you can tell, I have found Houzz Pro. I am currently on the main page, which summarizes all the different bits that are available, that I've been working on. So if you have projects, if there are different things, whether it is a proposal that you created and all that bit, everything should be available into the homepage. So here from the homepage, what I'm going to do next is actually clicking on more. So I've clicked on more. So I believe I'm just going to go back to make sure that you see what I'm referring to. But here at the bottom, there is a more option, as you can see, that is available, and that will lead to actually to your 3D floor plan. And here we have the 3D floor plan that is available for us. If I'm going too fast, I'm kindly asking you to please let me know so that I can stop and just restart, because I know that it can be tricky when there is when it goes too fast. So I'm just carrying on. We are in the 3D floor plan, and I'm just going to select the 3D floor plan because this is what we are currently working on. Here we have all the plans listed. So these are all the plans that I've created, that I've been working on. And as we started with, we are going to dive into Nikki's home. So I'm selecting Nikki's home, which was the first plan that was on the top of my page. Once I select Nikki's home, as I can tell, I have different plans that are available. So on my phone, I have the 2D plan, which is the plan that we saw earlier, that lays flat. Then from there, we have the 3D plan that we can move around, a 360-degree experience again with more dimension. And then we have the augmented reality that we will actually showcase in a bit. So once we select the 3D plan, as we can tell, we have zoomed in directly, we have more dimension, and we can move it around. What we want to do next, once we have selected the 3D floor plan, we want to also move into the last bit, which is the augmented reality. Once I click on the AR, and I'm just going to go back. There we go. So as you can tell on the top right corner, I have AR, which is the augmented reality. By clicking on that bit, that will lead me to the next bit of the experience, which is this bit. We have a vector that actually shows us where we will find ourselves once we decide to project our space or our plan into our space. So this will give an indication of where we'll find ourselves. What I want to do while projecting my plan is really focus into the living area. So I'm moving by just playing around with my finger on the living room. Once I'm done, I can click on next, and that will lead me to my actual space. So before I project the space or the plan into the space, what I want to ensure is that I keep my phone or my device on the floor level, ensuring that we can scan the floor and just to stabilize my device and the scanner that would allow me to project actually the plan. So here I'm playing around to ensure that I can cap the plan, and from there you will see the floor appearing, and that's when I can tell that the different vectors have actually acknowledged the space that I have found myself in to project the plan that I've been working on. And this takes us to our actual experience. So as I was saying earlier, I want to find myself in the living room, and this is where I found myself in. Here we have the living room that has been projected in my space. So you can walk around in the direction that you wish to go. So on the left-hand side here, we have the kitchen bit. You have the door.
And I would say as well, it's really cool here if you have a window place where it is a window, like you literally see through the window. So it's a very like wow factor from a client's perspective to be able to walk through their projected space in their own space.
Yes. So as we were able to see on the desktop version, we were able to zoom in, break the walls, zoom out. Here we're actually finding ourselves in the space, imagining ourselves in the space and just moving around. So this is really for the augmented reality experience that takes your client from yeah, I know what you mean, to a wow effect. So I'm really encouraging each and every single one of you, if you are really interested, to not hesitate to book a tutorial or even a course so that we can dive further into it. But this is really what we are referring to. So I am going to stop sharing my screen.
Jennifer, when you started learning how to use artificial reality, like what would you say is the tricky part, or what do you need to know?
I think the points that are very important to mention are the space in which you find yourself, ensuring that you have the good lighting, because you might have difficulties to project yourself. If we are working with scanners, we are working with devices, and that's why I said with technology, you never know. So you want to make sure that you have a contrast when it comes to the space in which you find yourself in. It's just easier for the scanner to grab actually the different elements and being able to project the plan. Another one that I would say, in order for you to have a more realistic experience when you are sharing or projecting the space, if you have a wall, obviously you want to project a wall against a wall, if it makes sense. So this is really finding how you want to position yourself. That can be tricky, but once you know, it's just a great experience to play around with.
Position yourself and position the plan accordingly.
Position the plan as well accordingly. Yes.
Yeah. But if any of you already have created a floor plan, even like with that small floor plan that you have, if you have your phone, then try the AR, the artificial reality, and just practice it in your own space. It doesn't necessarily need to match the space that you have created, but just see how it looks like. Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah. Super cool. And it makes you look very high tech.
Yeah,
very advanced all of a sudden. Yeah,
no glasses or anything.
Yeah, no, like literally just through your phone. Yeah, it's a real wow effect.
Yeah, I say way out. That is, I'm totally. No, it's really good, and that's really good that you can do it in your own space and see the plan that you've created as well. But using that, you would obviously have to have the phone and go to their house. This is on the visit, isn't it? Obviously, showing them through.
Yeah, so it's not because this is a paid feature, so you can't send it to your client, and they cannot do it like from a free app, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's good.
So yes, it needs to be.
You want to give them everything, do you? It's just,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's and is it so? It's not something you could share and promote that you actually can achieve this. We can, that is a huge thing because it's not really promoted. It's something as if it should be promoted to say, I can create everything, and you can actually be there even before it's created. And because I didn't realize the walkthrough and the AR is totally, completely different. And that would be something to be promoted would be brilliant because people want that.
Yeah.
Know it now.
Do you mean like having kind of like a badge on Houzz, or when you say promoted, is it more like in your own?
Well, like we have the
engagement with the
video
client?
of us and promoting us, but just showing that I don't know, the story behind it, what you've told me. I thought it was just the walkthrough.
Yeah.
I just realized it's more than the walkthrough. It's actually you're in the space. And this is just really great. I mean, to say that we can create a space for you and you can actually physically feel that you're in there. From a marketing perspective, I'd like to use that, say, on my Instagram or something. That this is what I've created for somebody.
I suppose you could screen record it like Jennifer has and post it.
Yeah, that
they allow you to. Houzz allow you to think.
Yeah, no, 100%. And also like even have someone maybe record you from behind, so you're showing the space. I don't know if that would work, or if the reflection would make it look funny, but might be worth trying.
Fantastic. Sorry.
All right.
Wow, that was brilliant.
Okay, so we'll proceed. There we go. Okay, so we have looked into the different views. So in total, we are really referring to 4 different views. We talked about the 3 different views on the desktop version, and then the additional one on the device. I would like to know, how can the client benefit from seeing the plan from different viewpoints?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've discussed that, haven't we, really? Yes, they can visualize it, they can see it, it gives them confidence in us that we're able, and that we know what we're talking about, and we can preempt what it will be like for them, instead of them making big commitments, and maybe they'll end up spending a bit more because they can see that you've thought it through. It's not just in our heads as such, and it's 3D and physical.
Indeed, we've looked into 4 different views. Is there a view that you would actually prefer one than the other? I know that the last bit was really interesting, but if there's any other view that you believe that is also as great as the last walkthrough, the augmented reality.
I think each is has their own benefits.
Yes,
it's
indeed.
really great to have the overview, but then also zoom in, so I think it's great that we have actually 4 different options with with one plan that we created. I think it's really amazing. But for me personally, definitely the augmented reality, it almost, if I was, obviously having a project going on and I hired someone and someone showed me this, I think, because when you scan the room, it's almost like you're in the transformed room, right? It kind of makes me oh, I can't wait actually to be in this room, just creates great excitement. But all of them I think are great and useful in a way.
Indeed, I even forgot about the excitement part of it. And it's true, once you see the result, it makes the process a bit more, not enjoyable, but I'll say you have something to look forward to because you've had a preview of what could actually be the result. So how confident are you using the AR? The last bit, is it intuitive enough? Is it something that you believe that you still need a bit more training for?
Yeah, I think we'd definitely like to have a go with it. Obviously, we've got to make the plan first, but it seems like a simple feature to use. It's like a just point and view sort of thing. It looks quite good, quite user friendly.
Yeah.
I think I was actually super surprised when we explored the feature a couple of months ago, how easy it was to get started. Because it's such a wow feature, so I expected it to be very difficult to get started, but it's literally just adjusting the plan according to the room, scan the floor, and then you go. So it's like in 3 clicks and then you're there. Yeah. So try it.
Indeed. As we are coming to an end, just a reminder, if you would like to book a one-on-one training, as maybe there's a bit that you need a bit more insight about. I know, Lucy, we talked about the initial 2D plan. If there's any additional information that you believe that might be needed, please do not hesitate to contact us. There is my link that would be put in the chat. If you want to schedule a one-on-one training, I'll be more than happy to help you with that.
Thank you.
Okay. So maybe what we can do at this point is to maybe both of you, if you could maybe share a takeaway for today's session. What would that be? What is it that you remember, something that you're keeping with you today? There's been so much that has been shared.
We didn't know this was possible with Houzz, so everything is just the whole thing is a takeaway.
Okay.
Yeah, the AI is just blowing my mind. I'm still getting over that. That's really good, and I can't wait to use it and things. So yeah, play around. It was a great session, really good, and it's great doing these sessions because I might know that it's there, but it's actually going through it with everybody. And you really wake me up when you start asking the questions in the beginning. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's good. I think we always try to set the scene a little bit for you to, like I said, get ready and get into the mindset of seeing the benefits for your business, right?
Yes.
And the value you can bring.
Amazing. So lastly, before we finalize today's demo and training, what I'm going to do is just share the survey. So we've prepared a little survey that shouldn't be long, just for us to get a bit more feedback about today's workshop and see how we could do what we could focus on next. So I'm kindly inviting you, please, to fill in the form for us, just for us to know where we can what we can do next. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, we're taking a break for Christmas. The first week of January, there will be no workshop, but then the second week we are back again, and we are speaking about financial and reporting. So it's all about finances and making sure that we make them less scary and more accessible, and having full control of money in and money out in the business, and setting the business up for success in the beginning of the year. So welcome on the 12th of Jan. And then Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and have a strong finish of the year. Yeah, and thank you so much for participating.
Thank
you
you
so much.
Thank you all so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Take
Bye,
care.
everyone.
Bye.